Welcome back to the channel. My name is Patrick Brewer. I'm the founder of Advisor Growth Experts and CEO of the Wealth Plan Group, an RIA with about $2 billion in assets under management. Probably more at this point, just want to be safe for compliance. Got a lot of experience in buying, growing, and selling RIAs, and that's exactly what I'm going to teach you how to do on this channel, is how to buy, grow, and eventually sell for more. And today's topic is near and dear to my heart. It's social media marketing. How can you get more attention, build an audience, eventually convert and get more clients, and maximize your ROI using social media? Marketers talk a lot about the idea of building an audience, getting a group of people who are interested in either consuming your content or interacting with your brand, and eventually get them to come into your office and become clients. Now, the jump from the idea of building an audience to getting them into your office, it's a really big jump. And even building an audience in today's environment, with how hard it is to get attention, how much noise there is in the world, it's very, very complicated. So I think that's where most marketers fail, is they say, hey, you need to build an audience, Mr. Advisor. And you're like, great, how do I do that? And they're like, I don't really know. So that's why we see so many advisors buying leads, running workshops, sending out direct mail, whatever it is, basically trading their money for people's attention. The problem is that the attention that they're getting is not high value attention, because the person who is receiving that direct mail or is clicking on the lead form for the ad that you're buying really has no context as to how you think about the financial markets, what your process is for planning, who you are as an individual. And the problem is, even if they come into your office, they're gonna end up kicking the tires, talking to 10 other advisors, and probably wasting your time. So I want to talk to you about social media marketing, because I believe that this is the solution. And in addition to social media marketing, the idea of content creation. How do you create content and distribute it in a way that's going to maximize the chances of getting the right people to interact with you? But first, I want to talk about some of the things that you're probably doing wrong right now. There's really three big mistakes that I see financial advisors make when it comes to social media marketing and content creation in general. The first is being stuck at one of those old guard firms that forces you to use the repurposed content, the crappy newsletter, the column from the CIO, and then send that out with a 900-page disclosure on your LinkedIn profile or whatever it is that you're pushing it out on. So that's not going to work. We need to stop doing that, and probably the best way to stop doing that is to switch firms and find a better place to live and set up your business. Number two is, if you're able to share content, maybe you just haven't gotten past the limiting beliefs that a lot of advisors have around sharing your opinions, sharing your belief system around the markets, how you do and think about financial planning, personal stories about you and your clients, and things of that nature. It's because of this perception that people either A, already know the things that you're sharing, or you just aren't confident in your own message. So you need to work through that. That's generally best done in a coaching setting. But once you get past that, then it's really the third pillar that I see advisors kind of die on, and that is your message is too broad. So this idea of sharing generic financial content, investment information to everyone, and not putting a stake in the ground and picking a niche, or at least a specific subset of individuals that you will uniquely resonate with. You can solve that, but it does take a little bit of time and energy to target your focus and make sure that you are marketing to the right people in your practice. So let's talk about the 7-step process that you can use to improve your content creation and become a lot more effective on social media. Step 1 is pretty self-explanatory. You need to commit to creating more content. So either leaving the wirehouse broker dealer, getting out of there so you have the ability to create more content, or getting past some of those limiting beliefs that have been holding you back from sharing your unique perspective with the market. Either way, we need to be able to create content so that we can get out and distribute it on social media. Step 2, we need to figure out who this content is specifically for. Said differently, you're going to need to pick a niche, which means you're going to need to dig down deep and figure out, who are you meant to serve? Why should they care? What unique skill set do you bring to the market to get somebody and compel them to the point of actually wanting to work with you? If you're curious about how to pick a niche, it's a complicated process, but I've created a video that is on that topic, and I'll go ahead and link it in the description. Step 3, you're gonna need to leverage a content creation framework that actually works. Because if you're tasked with just coming up with things to create on video and you don't really know what you're talking about, you don't know if it's going to resonate with your target market, you're not going to do it. So the first thing that you need to do after you've picked your niche and you understand how that market thinks and what types of content they could potentially be interested in, is you need to come up with a list of topics that might be interesting to that specific person. So this topic list can be far-ranging. I'd recommend coming up with at least 25 topic ideas, and these are broad categorical topics. Could be things like diversification, retirement income planning, executive compensation, exit planning. And after you come up with that list, then you can break it down and create more consumable content to pique your target client's interest. Step 4, now that you have your topics defined, which is usually 25 to 30 different topics that are going to be broader, little potentially longer to talk about, maybe a little bit more complicated, we need to figure out how to break those down for your niche so that they can actually consume the content and become interested in it, so that they're willing to sit through something that's maybe a little bit longer, a little bit more complex. The way that I do this is I filter everything through kind of 6 subcategories. The subcategories relate to the topic. So we start at the highest level, our niche, then we have our topic, then we have our 6 subcategories. So the topic that we're gonna look at, the niche that we're gonna look at is business owners. The topic is gonna be diversification, and then we're gonna filter it through those subcategories. I'm just gonna do this on the fly, so I might mess up. I appreciate the kindness here as I work through it, but I just wanna make this very specific to you, the financial advisor, because when you work through this for the first time, it might be a little foreign and you're gonna struggle, so it's easier if you have a specific example to follow. So the first thing with diversification is we wanna look at a common question that somebody has about diversification. So when I'm sharing this on a video, I would say a common question that business owners have about diversification is, how do I actually diversify when I'm running a business? Because a lot of my assets are tied up in this one company, and I maybe don't have a lot of free cash flow, or if I do, I don't know where to put it, so I just put it back into the business. How do I think about that? So that's one way to talk about diversification, right? That's specific to the business owner, and you can just narrow in on that idea of a common question. The second is a common mistake. So what's a common mistake that a business owner could make when it comes to diversification? Well, it's thinking that since they have an informational advantage in whatever industry they're in, they plow their money back into the same industry, and let's just say something happens in that industry, even though they may have a competitive advantage and informational advantage, the market doesn't care and it wipes out their net worth. So that's a common mistake that business owners make. The third is an industry myth. What's an industry myth around diversification for business owners? And again, this could be diversification, an industry myth about diversification in general and how it applies to business owners. So an example could be just the idea of naive diversification, just taking all of your excess cash that's not in your business and just spreading it out randomly in like VTI or other ETFs and just chilling, for lack of a better term. This is not going to be good, because now we have to deal with overlap. We have to deal with other things related to this, naive diversification strategy. Number 4 is a personal story that either could be positive, could be negative, when you're working with a business owner that relates to diversification. So on the negative front, let's say we're working with a business owner who decided not to diversify, and then we kind of tell a horror story about what happened to them. And I'm sure you've worked with these people in the past. Number 5 is a quick tip. So a quick tip around diversification that could be relevant to business owners is you don't want to plow all your money back into your business. You want to look at other things that could potentially offer you some benefits that move differently based on the market cycle. So this would just be a more normal tip that you would share around diversification. And the final one is a step-by-step process. Much like I'm sharing with you right now, this step-by-step process of how do you diversify your assets as a business owner, that's going to be different for everyone who's watching this, depending on what their planning process is as a financial advisor. Step 5, how much content do you need to record? I would recommend that you produce 1 bundle per week, and a bundle would be 1 longer form video, which is 1 topic category like diversification, and then 6 shorter videos to kind of fractionalize that diversification topic into those 6 categories that we just talked about. This is going to allow you to dominate social media. There's going to be no question as to who is the preeminent financial advisor for whatever niche you select if you can stick to the schedule. For some advisors, this is too much, and you may want to, instead of doing 4 bundles per month, 1 per week, you can drop it to maybe 2 a month. That'll make it a little easier for you to stick to the content production schedule, but you need to hit 2 bundles a month in order to be relevant, because if you don't, then people are just going to start consuming different content. You're never going to have enough to get any level of throughput. Step 6, editing your videos. Once you've created all this content, you're going to need to get it professionally edited. I would recommend checking out Upwork.com. You can put a project on there and have a video editors bid on the project to be able to edit these long form videos, these shorter form videos, and provide you with a finished product. The challenge with Upwork is, even though you might get a good price, you have to root through 10, 15, 20 video editors to find the right one. So it is going to take a little bit of time to find the match for the style that you're going for. Alternatively, we do offer this service, this content production package, celebrity advisor service at Advisor Growth Experts. So if you wanted help and you don't want to start from scratch, feel free to check out our website and submit a form. Step 7, now that you have a finished product, you've got these videos, you need to post them to social media and host them on YouTube. So generally what I do is I host the longer videos on my YouTube channel, and then I will push out all of the shorter videos on Instagram Reels, on YouTube Shorts, post them to Twitter, post them to LinkedIn. It's a lot of platforms, but you don't have to choose every single platform. You can focus in on where your niche is most likely to consume content. So for business owners, this is probably going to be Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. I mean, depending on the type of business owner, it might be Instagram. But generally speaking, you should try and focus on 2 platforms. That way you're not overwhelmed and you're not spending a ton of money or time posting to social. That being said, you're going to want to include the appropriate call to action for each of your videos. What this means is when you post these shorter videos, you need to direct that attention somewhere. So what I do is when I post my shorter videos, I direct the person to a longer video, much like the one that you're watching right now. And then once you watch the longer video, if there's any interest to work with me, or in your case to work with you, what I would recommend is using this website called Linktree. I have a Linktree. I've dropped it in the description so you can see what it looks like. It's just Linktree/PBrewCFA, and it links my website, it links all of my different offers, it links my resources, and it consolidates that into one page. That way you're not relying on your prospect to figure out where your website's located or how to interact with you or what action you want them to take. You want it to feel very natural, moving from the shorter video to the longer video to the call to action, so that it's clear what steps they need to take so you don't get drop off. So there you have it, the Financial Advisor's Guide to Social Media and Content Marketing. We covered a lot of ground here. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like it and subscribe to the channel. My name's Patrick Brewer, founder of Advisor Growth Experts, where we teach financial advisors how to buy, grow, and eventually sell for more. I'll see you in the next video.